JazzCast Pros.
Welcome back to Beauty Boss Millionaire. I'm your host, Felicia Fracassi, and the objective of today's episode is really just to navigate entrepreneurs that are going through this thing called life, building their business, and how to survive a recession, how to survive when the economy has a turn like this, and really how to protect your cash flow. I really want to focus on what businesses are going to be thriving during a recession. We need to know that too, because you have to be clever, you have to be wise, and you have to be diverse. That's the word I want to really focus on, being diverse during the recession.
Thank you for tuning in to the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast with Felicia Fracassi. Her mission is to empower you with short, on-the-go business tips and advice to help you successfully start and run your company like a boss. And now, here's your host, Beauty Boss Millionaire, Felicia Fracassi.
Now, I know people that are entrepreneurs and they're only good at one thing. And then I know something called a serial entrepreneur, which I am. And I can basically go in any business, figure it out, and figure out how to make it work. And then there's some people that are entrepreneurs where they can do a few things, and that's fine too. But my point is that you need to diversify. If it's that one business that you have, you might need to say, let me not put all my eggs in one basket, hoping for them to hatch, when yet there's another need that you can temporarily step to and help out and create money and revenue from that and cash flow. I don't think it's important that anyone quit their 9-to-5 job right now, unless it quits you. If they fire you, that's a different story. But I think every entrepreneur that may be working a 9-to-5 and has their own side hustle business, keep that going. Do not close anything. Do not stop it. You need all avenues. I don't care if you don't get but one booking on your side hustle, one every 2 months. It's something that, or once a month, it's something that you have that you wouldn't have had before. So let's go back and talk about what businesses even thrive during a recession. A lot of people don't realize that if you just do the research, there are certain businesses that have proven time and time again to survive through a recession. One is healthcare. People will always need healthcare. So some of those nurses that are sitting back with those degrees, those CNAs, LPNs, RN, PAs, all those people, doctors, hey, good old healthcare. People are always going to still need you. That has nothing to do with recession. People always still need help. So remember that. Another thing too, transportation is on the list of things that people always are going to need. It might not be as booked and busy like Uber and all that stuff, but people are still going to need that. Food is always a big one. People always still want food. They want to eat nicely. And I'm not saying that they're going to go and get the most luxurious plate and spend the most expensive, but they're going to buy food. Another thing that a lot of people could be overlooking is residential housing. Think about it. If the interest rates are up, which they are right now, and that means a lot of people aren't buying homes. So they need to chill out and just rent a house for now until their credit goes up or their income goes up. And one thing about people, they're going to pay their rent. Most of people want to pay their rent unless you're in some place where they just don't care. But most people are going to pay for their housing. It's a shelter. It's a necessity. It's number one. For example, one of my tenants right now, they asked me probably about last year around this time, they signed a lease and they said, look, we're going to be up with our lease in a year. And then we're going to actually buy a house. I said, all right, cool, no problem. I already had it all listed, ready to rent it out again. As I literally was clicking the button to put it up for rent again, because that's, the date that they were going to move out. I think I put it up like a month before after I had my child. And it was so crazy because they reached out to me and said, hey, you remember how we told you we were going to buy a house? I said, yes. They said, well, the way this economy is looking right now, we're going to wait. So is it okay if we do a 2-year lease on your place? I thought about it. And I didn't even up their rent because these people are such good tenants. They literally don't ever call me. They take care of the house like it's their house. They have kids and they're really sweet. They pay their rent on time. I said, absolutely, I will renew. And we did a 24-month lease. Now, that is actually amazing. Most people want to do like a year lease. They love the house so much. They're like, look, can we do 2 years? Sign the contract, got the deposit, and they're good to go. And they said in 2 years, they're going to decide to buy a house when things get a little better. So don't forget that rentals are great recession-proof items because people need housing. People are not going to spend on things they don't need. And housing, food, transportation, healthcare are all necessities. Believe it or not, even beauty is recession proof. Beauty, and I'm not saying, they're going to spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars like they used to, but they might spend, $100 a month on some beauty services just to keep themselves looking good. So don't forget about those businesses that are recession proof. I've actually created a quick list of some things. I'm just going to go through them really quick right now. Doctors, lawyers, CPAs, dentists. Auto repair, you're going to need your car fixed. You still need that. Handyman services, seamstress, convenience stores, people obviously buying food. They're still going to buy their little smoke and drink, their little tobacco products because they can't go nowhere. They just want to feel good. Hairdressers, barbers, people still need their hair done. We kind of already talked about that. I know this one's going to sound crazy, but candy is actually recession proof. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but during the Great Depression, Snickers, the Musketeers, and all these other candies were introduced during the Great Depression because people just wanted that temporary feel good, have some candy, have something sweet, and you're good to go. Beer, wine, and liquor is one of those things that people will always do. Children's goods, the pet industry is stable. Financial advisors and accountants, cybersecurity and tech support. Those are things that are actually recession proof, believe it or not. People always want a business. They want to feel safe. Cybersecurity, all these cyber attacks, the Bank of America cyber attack that just happened not too long ago. People are still shook up about that and their money. So that's a good business. And tech support, repairs, any type of business that needs repairs. Like I said, plumbers, electricians, mechanics, roofers, handymans, they typically do well during a recession. Debt collection is the sad truth of the recessions, but a lot of people can't make their bills and they get behind on car payments, medical bills, and electrical bills. Debt collection may not be your passion, but it certainly is a recession-proof business. Freight operations as well. So I've kind of named at least 20 things there that you can do, and I really do want everyone to really revisit these things. If you're a first-time entrepreneur, go into one of those things. It doesn't cost a lot of money to start doing those things that I just mentioned. Or if you are an entrepreneur, you might want to think about adding these things on. You might, if you start to see your numbers decline, hey, it's time for a new product. I mean, we don't stop. I told you guys, this life of entrepreneurship is not for the weak. I have a guy right now who works with me. He actually works for me, but I like to say works with me because he's an entrepreneur that is working with me, not for me. And he actually is one of my highest grossing entrepreneurs. But this man is so smart. Although he makes a lot of money, he asked me the other day, can I add this service? I don't really want to mention it. Can I add this service onto my business? And I was like, well, are you good at it? He was like, yes, I'm really good at it. Ask blah, blah, blah. And I asked the person, they were like, yes, he is really good. He should be doing that. And guess what? He has now added that onto a service, which is now doubling his revenue. So he's the type of person where he reminds me of myself. It's so funny. He is very fast with things. He is an entrepreneur that creates. He knows how to make things happen and makes a way out of no way, doesn't take no for an answer, doesn't like excuses, gets up every day ready to work, lots of energy and really ready to go. And those are the people that are going to survive, the ones that think smarter and not necessarily harder. He already had the clientele. They already love him. And he added on this one service that really just boomed. And I'm so glad to see other people thinking outside the box, thinking outside of what they're, because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we can box ourselves in. We can say, oh, this is my thing. This is what I do. But yes, that's what you do. But let's remember the main word. We need to diversify ourselves if we want to survive the recession. We're going to talk about this more up next on Beauty Boss Millionaire.
Hey, if you like this episode, check out Getting Real with Bossy, where we chat about what it's like to be a woman business owner.
You'll hear interviews with women who are doing what it takes to succeed and the reality of what that looks like.
We cover all the topics, figuring out the rules and regulations, navigating business partnerships,
Even if that's your spouse. Motherhood while running a business, working within your values.
and all the ups and downs of being the boss.
Are you ready to get real? Pop over to our podcast.
Getting Real with Bossy,